Huntington's disease has been successfully treated for the first time, according to the results of a trial that has just been released. This disease is one of the worst genetic disorders. It's often described as a mixture of dementia, Parkinson's and motor neuron disease. Here in the UK, it affects around 7,000 people. Now, if you inherit the gene from either parent, there is a 50% chance you will develop it, usually developing it in middle age. The trial was shown to slow the progress of the disease by 75%. So with me now is our medical editor, Fergus Walsh, and Professor Edward Wild, who is a consultant neurologist at the National Hospital for Neurology and Neurosurgery and a Huntington's disease specialist. Isn't it great to see you both talking about this story? Yeah. And Fergus, we are always so careful to use that word breakthrough.
It's rare I use it.
But we can't we?
I have had to pinch myself on this story. A little bit in your intro, it's if you inherit this gene from one of your parents, there's a 100% chance you will go on to develop Huntington's disease. So when couples have a child, there's a 50-50 chance that it'll be passed on. But this trial, and these are just the top line results, so we need to always be cautious until they're published in a peer-reviewed journal, but they are sensational. Ed was involved, he'll tell you much more. I feel bad even talking before him, but let me just give you the outline. 29 patients, they had a one-off treatment, which was an injection into 6 parts of the brain, deep into the brain, and the 3-year data shows that of the 29 patients involved, the average slowing of the disease was 75%. And that was based on measures like cognition, movement, ability to lead an independent life. And given that this awful disease often takes sort of 10 to 20 years to kill someone once symptoms emerge, potentially that could give them decades, years certainly, but decades more healthy life. So it's extraordinary. It's not licensed yet, but I'm thrilled for researchers like Ed and also for the families. I've met quite a few of the families, and they are living under the shadow of this terrible condition. And so it's fantastic news.
Ed, as Fergus was speaking, I mean, I just went goose-lumpy, but then I looked across at your face and you are looking so utterly thrilled, as you should be. I mean, can you give me a reaction from you and the team when you started to see these kinds of results come through?
It is, you know, I'm probably slightly more prone to excitement than Fergus on things like this, but it really is breathtaking, and it's unlike anything we've ever seen before. I've been doing Huntington's disease research and looking after patients with HD for 20 years, and trial after trial after trial has, you know, we've been in the world of incremental progress, but each individual trial has ended in disappointment and a negative result. We know what we need to achieve, though. We know the cause of Huntington's disease, and that's what gave us the head start. And this gene therapy news is really the first time in the history of Huntington's disease that we have convincingly slowed the progression of Huntington's disease, and we have biochemical evidence that the mechanism is through rescuing neurons, protecting neurons from dying, which they would otherwise do.
Okay, so tell us a bit more about how it works and why it's so effective.
So the gene therapy is an inactivated virus which is injected deep into the brain, a part of the brain called the striatum. It's a long neurosurgical procedure, so there's a lot of upfront work and risk. Once the gene therapy has been delivered to the brain, that's it. It's there. The virus gets into the neurons and injects a piece of DNA, and it basically reprograms the neuron to become a factory for its own cure. So the neuron is producing the harmful protein, but it's also producing a molecule which halts production of that protein. And that must be how we've slowed the disease. There's less harm happening and the disease is slower.
And just to be clear, Fergus, up until now, they have only, doctors, been able to manage the symptoms of Huntington's.
Yeah, there's been no treatment for Huntington's disease. This holds the promise that not only will you be able to slow it down in patients who are affected in the early stages, but yesterday I met a 30-year-old man whose father died of Huntington's disease, saw him gradually fade away, needing full-time care, and died at the age of 54. There's hope that he will be able to have the treatment, and others, and never get affected. I mean, it's as big as that. Now, I should put this, we've got to be cautious. It's not a licensed treatment. It'll be expensive.
That's the money, yeah.
Another gene therapy, a one-off treatment.
Like £1 million sometimes?
Probably, maybe more than 2 million.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you think of the cost, Huntington's disease tends to come on, you know, when people they've just had their children, they then need full-time care. It's a huge cost to those families and to society. So I think I would hope the NHS would see this as something that is worth paying for, but obviously there are lots of other demands on the NHS, but we're way ahead of ourselves. I think for the moment, for today, we should just celebrate the research.
A momentous day. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations to the global Huntington's disease community. This result belongs to everyone.
Yeah, that is a lovely way to end it. Thank you, Professor Edward Wilden-Fergus. Always good to see you. Thank you so much.